Welcome to my skills prep video on prospecting. Prospecting, obviously a critical skill to your success in real estate. If you happen to watch my business plan video, everything boils down to for your business plan is how many people can you meet? How many contacts do you make? And then turn those into appointments and then clients and then closings. However, it all starts with contacts, which is prospecting. I say in one of my other videos, the more people you meet, the more business you'll do. And it really does just boil down to that. So starting with prospecting, I have your social media, my number one item, and don't be a secret agent. Another theme I've represented a couple times in some other videos. Let people know what it is you do for a living. You don't need to be oppressive about it or pushy about it on social media. You better work with me or else. But I put it this way, celebrate your success on your social media sites. Hey, I just got my real estate license. I'm so excited I can't stand it. It's going to be a great business to be in. I'm really looking forward to being successful, and be happy for me. So celebrate your success. If people have a real estate question, which most people do, they will call you and ask you. If nothing else, they'll call you and congratulate you and refer other people to you. So don't be a secret agent by any means, please. One other thing you can do to meet people is hold an open house, but as a new agent, you probably don't have any of your own listings yet. So hold another agent's open house. Talk to your broker. Talk to your broker and say, who are the agents in the office who have listings that many times they're too busy to do their own open houses? You can definitely hold an open house at another agent's listing. Maybe you sell a house, maybe you don't, but what's your goal of an open house? Meet potential buyers, meet prospects. And if you're not comfortable doing that, get comfortable. The more you do it, the more you can get comfortable doing things that you don't normally do. Next item I have is home shows for practice and learning and prospecting. Home shows, I think, are a wonderful idea. I've always encouraged all my new agents over the years and students in my classes. Home shows are always interesting, but when you have a real estate license and real estate is your business, go to the home shows. There's so many different things you can do. You can learn about stuff that goes on inside a house. You can learn about heat pumps, HVAC systems, things you might not normally want to necessarily know a lot about, but now that you're in the real estate business, you will get questions about those things. Definitely you will in the course of your business. So the more you know, the better off you're going to be. So use a home show as a learning tool. I also say use a home show as a practice. Use it to practice talking to people you don't know. If you're not comfortable doing that, like I said, you better get comfortable, because it's going to be a major part of your success in your business. So here's what I recommend you do when you get to the home show. Take some business cards with you, have them in your pocket, and go to vendors at the home show who might have a product or a system that you're not totally familiar with, but you think you should know more about because you're in the real estate business. So I would necessarily, in my case, walk up to somebody who has a heat pump business. And I would go to them and I would say, hi, my name's Tom with ABC Real Estate Company. I see that you're in the heat pump business. Know that I don't want to buy a heat pump. That's not why I'm here. But I get questions in my business from my potential clients about heat pumps. So would you mind, if you have a couple minutes, just give me a little education? Tell me about your heat pumps. Give me the Reader's Digest version, the Cliff Notes version of an answer if somebody says, what does a heat pump do? So I don't feel silly when somebody asks me that. And you know what? That's their job at the home show. Their job is to promote their products and educate people about their products. So it's just a wonderful, I believe, non-threatening way to practice talking to people you don't know, getting more comfortable with that. And then when they're done sharing with you information about heat pumps, I always thanked them and said, hey, do you mind if I take a couple of your brochures with me? So I can look them over. If somebody has a question, I'd be happy to send them your brochure, give them your brochure, and maybe you can get some business out of it. They said, no, that'd be wonderful. And then the last thing I always did was hand them a business card. And I said, thank you so much for taking some time out of the show here to educate me. As I said, I'm in the real estate business. Excuse me. If there's anything I can ever do down the road to help you with a real estate question, here's my card. Feel free to call me. And you know what? Over the years, I've gotten calls back from those people. Maybe not for them, but maybe they have a friend or a relative or somebody they know that had a real estate question, and they referred them to me. It's just another way to network. So you can prospect, you can learn, and you can practice your skills by going to a home show. And nowadays in the marketplace, they seem to happen all the time. The more they go on, the more opportunities you have. I said in a previous video somewhere along the way, there is never nothing to do in real estate. There's always something you can be doing in real estate. Home shows is one of them where it's a great place to prospect. I also like the idea, and did this over the years a lot, going to free seminars or free workshops. They used to be very prevalent. I still think they're out there. How to sell your home yourself, how to get involved in this or that, any real estate related free seminar or workshop. I would go. I would always tell you this, if you go to something like that, there's always something you can learn. There's always something you can pick up and use as some sort of a helpful nugget in your business. But the other side of that is, who else is attending these free seminars and these free workshops about real estate? The audience is packed with people who have questions about real estate. So if you practice number one, which is don't be a secret agent, you don't have to be pushy. But as I'm sitting in the audience many times talking to people, I would ask them, I said, well, what are you looking for in this seminar? Tell me why you're here. Do you in the real estate business? What do you do? Oh, no, we're thinking about flipping a home. We're thinking about this or that. And so we wanted to come and see what they had to say. I say, well, that's where I'm at too, that they're very interesting. They will always ask you, well, what do you do? And I tell them, well, I am in the real estate business, and I want to see what they're telling the general public, people like you. I want to be informed of what they're talking about here. And they would always say, well, that's really great. We didn't know real estate people came to these real estate workshops. I said, sure, I do it all the time. I find them really interesting, and I meet some interesting people. And they say, wow, I've got a real estate question. They always have real estate questions. So don't be a secret agent. The more times you can put yourself in a situation where there's people to talk to, it will benefit you on several different layers. Here's just a few other prospecting ideas for you to consider. Focus on a real estate niche that interests you. Maybe it's new construction or investment property. Maybe there's several builders in your area and the new construction business is booming in your area. Go meet the agents. They're in the builders' homes, in the builders' models. Go find out about that. Find out if they cooperate with other real estate agents. If you bring them a buyer, can you earn a commission? That's one good thing you'd want to know. And then also ask the agent in the model home, can that agent sell a buyer's backup house? Now, a backup house is a home that somebody who wants to buy a new construction from the builder, that's the home they currently live in, and it has to be sold before they can build a new home with the builder. Ask the agent, can you sell those? Many times those agents are restricted and can't take that listing of an existing home. Sometimes they can, but it's a good thing to go find out. And if they can't take that listing, ask them, what do you do? Do you refer those out to other agents? They'll likely say yes. And then ask them, can I get on your list of agents that you refer people to who have an existing home to sell before they can build a new one with you. And at least begin those discussions. Once again, 2 or 3 different levels. May not get much business out of that right away, maybe down the road, but it's great practice for you to begin to talk about real estate ideas with other real estate people. And that will help you down the road in your business. Investment properties. Maybe you want to deal with investors, apartment building owners, people who buy investment property, maybe buy and sell investment property. That's a bit of a long learning curve. And unless you have some investment property background, maybe something not necessarily you want to get started in right away, but it's certainly something to look at. Years ago, I had a newer agent who did have an investment property background, but he came to me one day and said, wanted to know how he could get involved with more buyers and sellers of apartment buildings. And this is a long story, but to make it shorter for this video, what he did was he went out, I told him, write down the addresses of apartment buildings that are in the area here and bring back 20 or 30 addresses for starters. So he wrote down the addresses, came back to the office. He looked up online property tax statements for those addresses and found out who the owner was. Sometimes it's a private owner, sometimes it's a trust that owns them, but there typically will be some sort of contact information in there, maybe just a mailing address, but he was able to get phone numbers for a lot of the people listed on the property tax statement. I said, and then start calling them up. That's what prospecting is. Sometimes it's a lot of phone work. He called up a lot of apartment building owners and said, hey, have you thought about selling your building? They'd get mad and say, no, hang up, boom. And so he did that, but every now and then somebody would say, well, we might sell it if we can get enough money for it. What do you suppose he asked them next? How much is enough money? And he began a conversation with them. And then he also had questions for people. He said, well, if you don't want to sell the one you're in, have you thought about buying any more? Many apartment building owners would say, oh yeah, I'd sure buy another apartment building if I could get the right sort of a deal. What do you suppose his next question was? What kind of a deal are you looking for? Think back to your exam prep. What sort of a net operating income do you have? What sort of cap rate do you need? That'll put a value on the property. Anyway, he would ask both of those types of parties, if I have a buyer who might be interested in the building you want to sell, would it be okay if I contacted you about having a showing and bring them over to show it to me? He said, sure. If you got a buyer, bring them over. That's fine. And especially for people who want to sell. He said, if I find somebody who wants to buy your building and you think you might want to sell, could I bring them over? Sure, call me up ahead of time. All he did was, over the next 3 or 4 months, a lot of phone work, build a list, right, of apartment building owners, some who wanted to buy, some who wanted to sell. And after a while, I used to say all he had to do then was become the Match.com of apartment building buyers and sellers. And he began to put deals together. Now that's a long road, and it was a lot of phone work, and it didn't happen overnight. But he wound up dealing with that group of people that were investment property owners, and he wound up buying a few buildings on his own, and I think he actually is in the apartment building owning business right now. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Maybe a market niche is as simple as move up buyers. I want to take my small house and get a bigger one, or downsizing. Senior citizens who are empty nesters are downsizing into townhomes or condos, or first-time home buyers. There's ways to market and to prospect with them. So find a niche you think you might be interested in that would suit you, and then figure out ways to market to that niche. Talk to successful people. I said this in a previous video. Success leaves clues. Successful people will leave you clues on why they're successful. And straight up ask them, how do you market to this group? So make this real estate business work for you and things you're interested in. Local planning commission meetings are something you may want to get involved in and go watch initially. So who goes to a planning commission meeting? There are developers who want to develop land trying to get it rezoned. There are property owners, landowners, developers. They all attend planning commission meetings. And if you want to get involved with those types of people and market to them, go to a planning commission meeting or two. Usually, in most cities that I'm aware of, they will happen the first or the third or the second or the fourth Tuesday or Thursday, one day every month. Many of them you can get on closed circuit TV nowadays, or neighborhood TV for your city, or you could look up recordings of them. But I found it real valuable to go. The first half a dozen I went to, I sat back in the corner and hoped nobody would talk to me, because I didn't really know what was going on, but I wanted to see what was happening there. And you see the same people come in and they're applying for rezoning and they want to change the size of the lots in their development. Planning commissions can be a wealth of information in your community. Plus, you'll probably get questions down the road when your neighbors find out that you're in the real estate business. I got these questions a lot. A neighbor would say, well, half a mile down the road, there looks like they're breaking ground for a new type of development. Do you know what's going in there? I was happy I could say, yeah, I do. I was at the planning commission 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be this kind of a development or that kind of a townhouse development. And that strikes up conversations. So the more people you meet, the more business you'll do. It's just another idea of something that might interest you individually. Okay, and any other personal activities you do outside of real estate. I always told agents in my class or students in my real estate classes, don't go to a personal activity just to prospect for real estate. Go because you are interested in whatever the activity is. Excuse me. Maybe it's on community education and it's a cooking class or a yoga class or a book club, anything outside of real estate. When you have an opportunity and it fits your schedule, go get involved in some of those things. Because whether you like it or not, whether you try and avoid it or not, people will strike up conversations with you and it will come out what you do. So don't be a secret agent. Oh, I didn't know you did real estate. Yeah, I got a question. Everybody has a real estate question. But take a class like that because you want to take the class. Don't make the sole purpose to prospect, because that can be real annoying to people. But by all means, take a class because you're interested. All of those things can help you meet more people, which will certainly lead to more business. Well, here's a list of my next level prep videos, both career prep and skill prep. If one of these looks like it would be helpful to you and very interesting to you, please feel free to watch. I encourage you to do that. Thank you very much for watching this video. And as always, if you like the video, please click the like icon down below. If you want to make a comment, I'm always open to hearing your comments and enjoy them. If you want to subscribe to my channel, by all means hit the subscription button and you'll get notifications when new videos are released. And if you want to share this video with somebody else who maybe is getting their real estate education or might enjoy one of the career or skills prep videos, I'd appreciate you sharing the video also. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great career.